What's going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today we're going to talk to you about NIO. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down what's been coming out from the company itself, and why I feel a breakout is on the verge of occurring. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So on Friday, NIO did go up 4.06%, $4.92 the high, $4.70 the low. 51.8 million shares were traded on Friday. 44.8 is the average. So you did see a lot of good buying coming from institutions right here. And I always like to analyze where the volume is coming from, because if it's algorithmic trading, that's not really good support levels. But this in general is fairly good. And keep in mind, as I do bring up almost every single video, normally this does not happen. You can kind of even see back, this showed the last 60 days or sometimes a little bit further than that. Institutions are normally maybe 1-2 transactions a day. So this over this last couple trading days is very abnormal, signaling good support. That is key for NIO's technicals. As of late, there hasn't been anything for SEC filings or press releases. So I've already talked about this and also this right here in my last video. So nothing really new in that regard. Even on social media, just a lot of speculation, just talking about previous news, deliveries, and whatever else. So as of right now, nothing really new. Of course, with their earnings coming out, that should be their next big catalyst. But once again, we'll just have to wait and see when it comes to that. I'll do a dedicated video all about some estimates and expectations for their upcoming earnings, but kind of stay tuned for that. I'll go over some data points, but one thing that I really wanted to focus on today is more so the technicals. So stay tuned for that. When it comes to shorts, 14.31% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 186.31 million shares overall are being shorted. Shorts did increase on Friday, 324,000 shares. Utilization is 82.79, and then short score is 75.05. Cost to borrow average is 1.39%. And just looking at what shorts have been doing, they've been maintaining their position, not really doing all that much. So clearly they were probably anticipating some negative data to come out this last week. Didn't really happen. If anything, it backfired quite significantly on them, because NIO over this last 5 days did go up 9.09%. I don't think shorts were really anticipating that, or else they would have started to return some shares. So I think they're just very doubtful about the validity of this, and this is why they were increasing. As far as some expectations for this week, I think it's still going to carry forward this positive momentum. And plus right here, you do see the fear and greed index under the greed category. I can't speak right now, but 56. So people's appetite for risk is definitely there. So a lot of stocks such as NIO is going to go up. And even based on previous videos, when I've compared the PS ratio to NIO to many other EVs, it is one of the most discounted EVs out there, aside from Polestar. I think Polestar is the most, but still, there should be a pretty good correction, and maybe there might be some good analyst ratings coming out this week. As you can kind of see, these are some of the latest ratings that did come out. So 5 days ago, there was a buy rating, $7.10. DBS, 40% success rating done by the analyst, so not the best for that. 9 days ago, $10 buy rating, Morgan Stanley, Tim, who does have a 29% success rating. And just be aware that a lot of analysts that cover EVs have crappy ratings, because I think a lot of people had high expectations for NIO and many other EVs, just things didn't really work out. Interest rates really dampened the broader market, and potentially with rate cuts, this is where you could see a lot of that kind of just boosted and stimulated. And this is why the EV sector has been very volatile in a positive way this last week. But what I'll do is I'll quickly give you an overview of the Elliott Wave technicals. So right now it does have a pivot point of $4.23. For as long as NIO is above that, then it is anticipated to get between that kind of $5.69 range and high, or like $6 range. So realistic if you ask me. But once I go over my kind of viewpoint on the technicals and some strong support and resistance points, it could actually go significantly higher from there. So that's just my opinion. You guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Going over options and some other fun jazz. So on Friday, 3.81 million in calls, 1.1 million in puts. So a lot of money is getting into NIO through options. And you can tell just based on this, of the call options, and there's a consensus for it to be above roughly around that 550 by the end of this upcoming week. So more so kind of piggybacking off the Elliott wave technicals. And then looking at puts, you do see a consensus for it to be sub $5. So in my opinion, the risk versus reward is very much in favor of upside versus anything. One thing to watch for this week though is a continuation of buying coming from institutions, or if algorithmic trading is really going to continue to push it instead of institutions. And if so, then that's something again to be somewhat concerned over. But all in all, we'll just have to wait and see exactly what the market has for us. But right now with it at $4.87, it is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 464 is going to be a very strong support. Didn't really get touched on Friday, so definitely watch for that to continue to hold. On the flip side, $5.21 is going to be that next strong resistance / target. But going over to the actual chart itself, what I'll do is I'll just double check to see you guys can see it, and yes you can. So as you see right here, it is higher percentile of the Bollinger Band. Right now, both the 50 and 100-day moving averages are pretty much right beside each other. So very strong resistance levels right above that. But with NIO and that 50-day moving average, it is very important that it breaks above that. Typically, if NIO does close 2 days above that 50-day moving average, which most likely on Monday, it will test that and try to break above that. But if it is able to close above that 50-day moving average for 2 consecutive trading days, this is where it usually goes from anywhere from a 20 to a 40% run from here. So you can kind of see it happened at this scenario. So back in May, and the last time it did that was, I guess, in December, and prior to that was last June. So it's definitely, like, looking back at historical data is always a good indication of what might be coming. And that's what technical analysis is all about, right? Looking at previous data to try and forecast what is going to come. So in essence, the next couple of days on the technical level for NIO are absolutely key. Looking at stochastic, you do see a nice bullish deviation, so white line above the red, and plus it is at 52, so somewhat neutral, not considered overbought nor oversold. So there is still a lot more room for NIO to go up based on all of that. So I see that as relatively optimistic and bullish. And of course, when it comes down to NIO, and if it does successfully break above that 50-day moving average, I think that might freak out shorts as well and have them start to return some shares, but that's just my opinion, of course. And looking at momentum shows number of retail investors are getting in, and it is above 0. So 0 is a very good key indicator that growth is coming. So definitely, I think bigger and better things are coming for NIO. Give yourself a shout out. Did you buy the dip, NIO dip, where it went to around the 450 range, or did you kind of just watch? I didn't buy. Again, as I've stated in the past, I have my 2 positions, and I'm chilling with them. I like them. One of them is 650. It would be nice if I kind of got that lower, although I've been doing a lot of options on that one, so that does get my average down slightly. But all in all, I feel NIO is a very big discount play. And as I brought up in my last video, if you even compare it to Tesla using the PS ratio, NIO should be at around like the $15 range. So NIO is a pretty good discount if you ask me. So let me know your thoughts. Give yourself a shout out if you have been buying, if you've been selling. What have you been doing with NIO? And do you think that it is going to be on a nice tear, going up roughly like 20%, 30%, like I said? Or do you think it is going to bounce off of that 50-day moving average and trend lower? What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. And one final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.